You're good.
Well, hello.
I was like, hello?
Hello, and welcome back to That's One of My Favorites, a musical movie podcast where I, Samara, discuss with one of my best friends, my bosom buddy, if you will, Emily,
Yes.
different,
Hi.
different remakes and things about movie musicals. And this week, we watched Mame, not Mame. Mame. We were led
Name.
astray.
Mm-hmm.
Which I had never ever heard of at all.
Nope, I haven't either. And I'm a pretty big, oh Lord. I say that now and I can't even think of
Connoisseur.
her name.
Lucille
I'm,
Ball.
no,
Yeah.
shush.
No.
Angela Lansbury fan.
Yeah. So,
So,
Mame, or not Mame. I already just messed myself up. Mame is a 1974 movie based on the Broadway musical that was based on the play that was based on the actual physical book, Auntie Mame.
mm-hmm.
Um, and it stars Lucille Ball and B. Arthur, who
Mm-hmm.
I adore. I adore B. Arthur
Yes.
so much.
If you don't know who B. Arthur is, go watch Golden Girls.
I want to watch all of Golden Girls. Every episode that I've caught and every scene that I see just makes my heart happy, and I just haven't
Yeah,
sat down. I haven't sat down.
I
I
love
didn't.
Dorothy. She's great. That's who
But
B. Arthur plays.
but it stars Lucille Ball and B. Arthur. However, it didn't originally star this, and there was a lot of controversy around it. Apparently, Lucille Ball was so trashed and roasted after this movie that she vowed never to do a movie again.
Yeah, this didn't get very good reviews at all
Mm-mm.
back in the day. Not at all.
Not even now. Now that it's online, it
Mm.
only has like a 3, I think, on IMDb.
There's some people that stand by it that are like, this is my favorite movie, but then a lot of them was like, ooh, this is a
Yeah.
miss.
So I don't know if you saw the little info grab or whatever, but apparently when Angela Lansbury was on stage, so she originated the role of Mame,
Mm-hmm.
and she originated the role as Mame, and B. Arthur originated the role as Vera.
Mm-hmm.
And they were on stage and they saw that Lucille Ball was there and they were like, oh my gosh, this is so great. So, of course, they met her, they backstage, they, spoke and talked or whatever. And Angela was like, oh, this is so cool, like whatever. Well, she apparently from the wings saw that Lucille was taking notes. And she said she knew she would never play Mame again.
Yeah,
Because,
I have that highlighted in my notes. And then I have a frowny face next to it. And it was then she realized that she was never going to play the part in the film.
I I
Frowny
would
face.
love to have seen this because apparently, so it won a bunch of Tonys. B won a Tony, Angela Lansbury won a Tony, and someone else won a Tony on. I don't have that off the top of my head because I don't think they were in the film.
Mm-hmm.
But and then it was nominated for a bunch of Tonys.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that they would have done great. And I looked up the ages because I was like, well, was it the fact that was one of them older than the other? But Lucille was actually older
Mm-hmm.
than Angela would have been at the time of filming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love Angela Lansbury. I mean, one of my favorite Disney movies is Beauty and the Beast, and she's Mrs. Potts. So,
Mm.
I think she would have been great in it. And actually, the video that I sent you of Bosom Buddies is her and Vera.
Okay.
Um, so I heard them together, and it's phenomenal. So I was like, why? You would have made so much more money off of this movie if you would have just stayed with the original cast.
Well,
I
and
mean,
here's
I love Lucille Ball, but the critics say she was miscast, and I agree.
yeah, and B. Arthur said, she was very upset that Angela Lansbury was not cast and that, she was left behind, but she said it was an honor to work with Lucille Ball. However, Lucille Ball should not have been in this part. Like, the end.
Yeah. And I feel like the people, like, I don't know if this was a call from Lucille Ball, but there was a note in here that the much of the criticism of the film was directed at the fact Lucille Ball was continually shot in soft focus. So a critic called Rex Reed famously said it looks like they rubbed chicken fat on the camera lens to shoot her. Yeah, like, did you notice that? She was always fuzzy.
I didn't
And I wonder
notice
if that was
that.
a note from Lucille Ball, like, don't show all my wrinkles, because this is obviously later in her career.
I didn't notice that 100%. And I mean, granted, it is an older movie that has now been translated and translated over and over again. And I'm watching it on my, whatever definition TV. So I mean, they all frankly looked fuzzy, but I didn't notice that she looked more fuzzy than the other. I'll have to go back and look.
Yeah.
But I did see the note where, they said the people who worked on the audio said that they did everything in their power and it still wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Because she just sounded so terribly. And she worked with singers or she worked with, a professional, and she did all this stuff and it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, it said she was a heavy smoker, so she couldn't even, like, get a full line out without, like,
she would
losing her breath.
Winded. She would get winded speaking. And here's the thing. I have only seen I Love Lucy. I've only seen I Love Lucy when it comes to Lucille Ball. She opened her mouth at the beginning of the movie, and I literally went, oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Because, I remember Lucy was very feminine, very, very sweet sounding. Obviously she was funnier, and because she wasn't quote unquote attractive, so she had that comedy era or whatever. But, I mean, she definitely spoke eloquently, I guess considering our time versus their time. And she literally, oh, let's come to my party. And I was like, holy mother of God. Like,
jump scare.
Jump scare. Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, no, just no. They could have done.
Also, I think, crazy to say too, because you think about, like, who is a jump scare voice or a, like, not typically effeminate voice is B. Arthur.
Mm-hmm.
And who is the oh my gosh, you watched Friends. Who played Chandler's dad? Jessica Rabbit.
I can see his face, but now that you ask me that, I can't think of his name.
Oh, I mean, it's a her. It's a woman.
Oh, wait, his
Remember?
mom?
No, Chandler's dad, who became a woman. Amanda.
Yes.
Why do I know that, but you don't?
No, I do. Kathleen Turner.
Kathleen Turner. So
Yeah.
when I think of, like, a whoa voice, I think of Kathleen Turner or B. Arthur. So to almost be calmed by B. Arthur in a movie was somewhat shocking.
And if you think about it, it's supposed to be somebody that is soft-spoken, like Angela Lansbury.
Yeah. I mean, I know
So
that
I feel like there's supposed to be a contrast.
Well, they are, and it's shown throughout their costuming, the whole movie too. That she and Vera are opposite attract, oil and water, yin and yang, fire and ice. Like, their costuming alone shows that. Mm-hmm. So I think that they are, but it did not come across that way just from vocal tone alone. And I know that, like, that feels nitpicky, but I feel like that was a choice that they made in the casting.
Yeah.
Originally, obviously.
You say nitpicky, that's what we're here for.
Well,
that's what we're doing.
with all of our Tonys and all of our successful shows that live on forever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it was shocking. I didn't think that she did great as far as singing, and there was no movement from her. I'd love to know if Angela moved. Mm-hmm. At any point during the show, because Lucy did not move.
No, well, because she couldn't even sing standing still.
Yeah.
Let's put movement in there.
Yeah. So I would love to know how much they cut. I know that, most of the time they cut one or two songs, or they add a little different choreography here and there, especially if they're doing like an older versus like, hey, this is kind of aged a little bit, let's make it a little bit sprier. I think they did that a little bit with West Side Story. So I get that a little bit, but I'd love to know what they cut. I'd love to know what happened that made everyone so disappointed in this movie, other than just Lucille Ball. Because honestly, if you're not nitpicking, and if you don't know what you don't know, this movie, I was cackling. My whole thing, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I'm going to be reading from the Wikipedia of the word, like the flow, but my whole thing is just quotes from this movie because it is so funny.
It is. I agree. And I didn't like you said, knowing what we know, because we did some research, and I did something a little backwards this time. I did research before watching it.
Oh.
And so I already went in there like, oh, you could have been Angela Lansbury.
You could have been Angela Lansbury. You could have been Madeline Kahn.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of went in there like with like a I like Lucille Ball, but I was like, it could have been better. It could have been better.
It could have been Ginger Rogers. At one point in the West End, it was Ginger Rogers. It could have been Judy Garland in general, but Judy Garland didn't want to do it. Like, it... what are we doing with Lucille Ball? Because as far as I know, she's not known to be performing like that. She's not known to be a performer in that sense. She's a comedian. She's a fantastic character. I think everything that she's done has been amazing. But like, she's
she's a huge trailblazer in the industry.
Yes.
But like you said, I've never known her to be on Broadway.
No.
And I've had really only seen, I may have seen her in clips of other things, but largely, I'm like you, I've really only seen her in I Love Lucy.
Yeah. Which, I mean, we're not discrediting in any way what I Love Lucy and what Lucille Ball did for TV, for women, for the Latin American like, we're not going, like, in no way. We're just saying, as far as musical theater goes, that was not good. And
as far as their other choices they had, they chose wrong.
Yeah. So, what is this movie even about? This movie is about a young boy named Patrick whose father passes away, and he is left in care of his aunt. And his nanny and him travel to New York to go to his Aunt Mame's house. And when they arrive, they are greeted, they enter in a bohemian, also it is, the year is 1912, 1910, because it talks about the stock market in 1912, I believe. So we're not, there's a lot of timey-wimey stuff where there's a lot of time jumps and cuts, but I'm going to estimate that this is about 1910.
I did not catch that because the costumes do not match that era. To me.
Unless this is, hang on. That might be, hang on, I might be on the book. Or the TV, or the, not the TV. I might be on one of the wrong ones.
Hey, I have it right here. Her adventures take place in the Roaring '20s. Yeah. Speakeasies to the Great Depression following the Great Stock Market crash of 1929.
1929. Okay.
Emily, read your notes. That's right there.
Well, no, because I said the wrong thing to begin with. But I said it with passion.
One of the Mames is in that time era.
So, to recap, this is actually probably 1928 or 27. We're not 100% sure the time that he arrives to the time that they lose their money. However, he comes to a bohemian, extravagant party. It is she says it's a holiday that she's invented today. It is her day. Did you know this? Well, first of all, back to the beginning. I love I love the charade James Bond style overlaying of the intro credits. I feel like they don't do that anymore because people complain. I'm not complaining. Samara, would like you to keep doing that, please.
Yeah.
It's so fun. It's so interesting. I love watching them. I think it's cool to see the different ways that, like, I feel like it just highlights the people in the background a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this intro. Now, however, the maid is singing during this time, and I know that it's part of her character, but she, like, my eyeball twitched the whole first song.
Yeah, with Mrs. Gooch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. I was like, what have we gotten ourselves into watching this movie?
And also, at this point in time, the maid, you find out, is a Catholic maid. She's very naive, and the little boy is supposed to be growing up in the Presbyterian church. Protestant, yes.
Yeah, he said Protestant, and she dropped her rosary.
So, there's a strict clause that all the money and the child's trust will be, as long as he is raised in a strict Protestant household, there will be no shenanigans. There will be no unique eccentricities. There will be no eccentricities. Well, they arrive at the most eccentric, eclectic house in the world. Did you notice during this scene that there are multiple different ethnic groups in traditional clothing that are shown in this scene?
Mm-hmm.
There was a black woman with an African print dress and a head wrap, but not just like, that's not being stereotypical. She's wearing the beautiful, like, almost Nigerian wedding headdress. Like, they are traditional clothing. They had a woman in a I couldn't tell if it was a sari or a I can't remember what the other one is. I couldn't tell which one it is. But they had a woman who looked like she was Indian in a sari or I think it's a langle. They had a man in a Sikh turban. They had a Jewish man in full temple regalia. Not just... they had a woman who looked of some sort of Asian descent in a traditional headdress. And then they had a woman who I'm only assuming is Egyptian because she had the Nefertiti hat. Like, have you seen the bust of Nefertiti? Mm-hmm. She had the Nefertiti hat, and she had darker skin tone. And I was like, what? We are just establishing that we are running with everyone.
Yeah.
In this movie.
And this place is packed.
70s. And this place is packed. And there are people making out in the kitchen, which that cracked me up because the maid goes in and goes, oh, and shuts the door. And then the kid goes in and goes, oh, and shuts the door.
Yeah, I love how is he the butler or he's like, she's expecting you. She knows the kid is coming. Just keep him away from the booze and he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Be on your way.
Everybody was so chill. It cracked me up. So he finally comes over and he's like, can I slide down the banister? And she's like, of course. And he's like, my dad would never let me. And she's like, oh, well, your dad must be terrible. He's like, I only have one person left. It's you. And she's like, oh my gosh, you're here. And
you're
so
here early.
He starts introducing him to everyone. And this made me laugh too. She's like, this is Judge so-and-so. He just released the hatchet killer. This is so-and-so. Like, the crowd that she is running with made me laugh so hard. Because I was just like, he just released the what? And then she's already gone. She's like, this guy runs a school for nudists. What is going on? Like, what?
Yeah. The main, like, the person that they would never, ever, ever want this boy, like, going into the care of.
No. But I will say, I want to be Mame when I grow up. That is what I strive to be.
What's funny is the dad put all this rules into place before he died, knowing full well who she was.
Oh yeah, he said, Mame will understand what I mean. Boy, have you met Mame?
Mame will care less what you're saying and continue to do her.
Yeah. So, at this point, we're also introduced to Vera, who is Mame's best friend, played by B. Arthur. she is ethereal. I can't think of any other word. When the men lift her up, and she just bring, 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 goes up the stairs.
She's still holding the cup to her face when she falls backwards. Did you notice that? That had me cackling. Just yeah.
It's so funny. And this show or this movie just made me laugh. Like, there were just so many little quips. Like, she tells the little boy, she looks at him, she goes, have you noticed you're very handsome? And he goes, must run in the family, so are you.
Well, Mame's face was like, I'll take it.
Yeah. She does that a lot, where she'll go, sure.
Yep.
Sure. So she wakes up the next day, she's so hungover, and he's just like, you're my mom now. What are we gonna do? And like following her around, and like, let me just tell you. Yes. as a mother, you don't have to be hungover to feel this. I'm like, dude, why are you here? I'm trying to pee. But go. Get out.
I made a note.
Oh, go ahead.
It's okay. I made a note on there that even though she's hungover, she manages to go to bed with like a full face of makeup and a long string of pearls and the elegance of her just sleeping.
The pajama set.
Mm-hmm.
I want that pajama set. And then also when she wrapped the robe, it kind of turned the pajamas into a dress.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were almost bell-bottomy pants, and then she like wrapped the robe. Oop, sorry. She like wrapped the robe, and like it made them kind of like mermaid out. So then she had like little like eloquent. She was so eloquent.
I knew you would probably have a lot of notes about the costuming in here because Mame's whole like outfit,
it was
and
so
even
fun.
Vera's was like
Yes.
fun to watch. Every scene, it's something even more extravagant.
They're just these little eclectic women, and they have money and pearls and zero shame, which is like that's what I strive. Like it's not even the weird, the money is whatever. It's just like they are. It is Vera is Vera, Mame is Mame. Take it or leave it, and it's like I want to be Samara. Take it or leave it. Like go find less if it's too much. You know, love it. I love this little interaction that they have. She's trying so hard because girl is hungover. I love the little interaction that she has where he asks her like, "What does that mean?" She goes, "Here's a notepad. You write down every word that you need to question, and once a week we'll talk about what they are." And I was like, "That's actually like, I'm gonna make a note." Check that off. I was like, that was pretty decent, and they start being really cute. They're very sweet. I laughed so hard when she said, "You look like you just came from a funeral." He's like, "Well, I did."
Yeah, her face was like,
and then she goes, "Well, it's over now." Well, it's over now. Don't worry.
Move on. We'll move on. Let's go.
So she takes him on a what you need to know whirlwind tour. Wow.
This is actually where one of my favorite outfits pops up, and she's in it for like a whole split second. When they're in the church, and she's wearing that like blue veiled like big brimmed hat that has like a veil over it. And I'm like, that is so out there, but so Mame, and you've only known her for like all of 10 minutes into this movie so far. I was like, she so would wear that to church.
She would. Why wouldn't she? She wears whatever she wants. I love that she takes him. So they go on this whirlwind. Like she's like, this is the stuff you need to know, and she takes him to. It looked basically like Rocky Horror. Did you see that clip?
At the bar?
No, not at the bar. It's in the flashing during open a new window, and they're like flashing up of like them at the church, them here. Well, they're watching a show, and it flashes to the people, and they're wearing underwear with furs.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. They're like at a bar show.
Okay, yeah. I thought you meant when they go to the speakeasy. But
No.
You're talking about when they're actually, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they're in the background, and she's got like this hat on, and she's drinking something. She just looks at him like,
That made
Oh
me
well.
bust out laughing because I'm like,
Yeah.
where are you taking this kid?
All she
She's
does is
like,
shrug when they are up there. He's like, hmm.
yeah, she's like, this is life. This is life according to Mame. According
Yeah.
to Chris. Um and she takes him there. They go to a speakeasy. They get busted at the speakeasy. But
Hmm.
the judge knows Mame. Everyone knows Mame, first of
Yeah.
all. Everyone knows Mame. So they get to the judge, and the judge is just like, oh, Mame.
And he starts singing the song that they're all
Oh,
singing.
Mame.
Yeah.
They get enrolled in this school,
The School of Life.
the School of Life. The only complaint, and this is so, like, I don't know if you want to call it of the times or, like, curmudgeon-y, but, like, the teacher walked by naked, and I was like, no.
Well, I was like, he's naked. There's a child at the piano naked with some uh, Indian Native American headdress on his head.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, what is happening here?
Yeah, and, like, I get that the joke is just kind of like, oh, like, it's just life. Let everyone do whatever they want to do. But I was like, I don't appreciate that joke. Next.
Yeah.
So the lawyer comes to check in on everybody. The trustee comes to check in on everybody. He's from the Knickerbocker Bank. Cackled.
Yeah.
Laughed out loud. I love that the butler confused him out the door again. The butler was like, this kid's gonna get taken away. So he walks him in and he's like, oh yeah, no, they're gone. He starts speaking in, I'm assuming he's Chinese. He starts speaking in his language. The guy's like, what? Huh? What? He turns him around and back out the door.
I think his name is Aito, right? Or
what?
something like
Yeah.
that. Aito.
And he's like, what? Huh? What? And then he's out the door and he shuts the door. He's like, oh yeah,
But
they're
then
not home.
But then Vera gets in his cab with him.
Yeah, so I didn't understand, was this sabotage or was this just who they are?
I think it was just Vera being like, oh, you're trying to find them? Sure, follow me. And, like, because
That's what
later...
I think it was too, but then part of me was like, was this sabotage a little bit? But the more
Later
that I
she
thought about
apologizes.
it, yeah. But I was, so I mean, like, again, these women are just like, oh, you're looking for them? Let's go. Boop, 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 boop. She gets in the cab with him, shows him where the school is. They open the door. It's chaos. And he's like, oh. And this whole time, like, Mame is chasing them down in their car, like, to be like, don't go to the school.
Did you notice that they didn't show anything that was happening? Like, they just open the door and show both of their faces.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And they just, like... Probably the same reaction that we would have, like...
Yeah. So Patrick gets taken away. Vera is so apologetic. Mame's like, I don't know what we're gonna do. Also, like, while he gets taken away, they get a phone call saying, hey, the stock market crashed. You're broke.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Vera being like, oh, thank goodness I didn't invest. Ma'am! Ma'am! Right
She's
now?
like, oh, thank goodness I'm still a millionaire.
In this moment, that was necessary? Okay. So Vera offers her a job at her show, which apparently always tank. Is she a
I
star?
was never in the chorus.
I can't tell if Vera is a star or if we're having like kind of like a producer's moment where it's like everybody knows who Vera is. It's not necessarily a good thing.
I don't know, but she's rich, so.
But so were the producers in the end.
Well, it's true. This is true.
So she offers her a role, a single line role in her show as a job, which was very nice. Blows it. Misses her line entirely because she's in there like trying to learn her one line while also like Zoolandering in the mirror. Misses her line completely. Patrick breaks out of his boarding school that he's in and hitchhikes to her. But then no one comes and gets him. That was the thing that I didn't understand. Because he's with her then, from then on. They're like, oh, he hitchhiked out.
Well, then, but they show him when he's grown up and he's back at school.
He's at college. That's, yeah.
True.
Spoiler. Just kidding.
Sorry, it's the next scene.
Just kidding. So Vera obviously fires her. They have this hilarious fight that made me laugh so hard. Is she goes, like, Mame goes to hug her and apologize, and she's like, "Get off of me!" And then she gets stuck. Mm-hmm. And so the curtain call opens, everybody bows, like, kind of awkwardly, everybody's laughing. They're like, why is she hugging her? Ha. The curtain closes, and I love the part she's like, somebody get some pliers, and Vera goes, somebody get a hacksaw, chop her arm off. And it's this whole thing, hilarity ensues. Patrick breaks out. He says, Mame, everyone didn't like the show till you came on. Like, he's trying to be nice. He starts living with her again, and she gets a job at a department store. Womp. Not good. She's inept. Mm-hmm. Inept. Which, like, you know, I get what, okay, so she meets this guy. This guy comes in. His name is Beauregard Jackson. Oh my gosh. I don't have the full name.
I do somewhere. It's like 4 names. Beauregard Jackson Pickett Burnside.
Beauregard Jackson Pickett Burnside from Atlanta, Georgia. And he comes in talking about, oh, my little filly needs a new prize. So he's dating a woman. The woman wanted a diamond ring. He is also inept and ends up at the shoe department of the department store.
It was almost like a whole bunch of different stuff in that area.
Yeah. The sporting... I don't know.
Did you notice that she says that he looks like Rhett Butler?
Yes, I do have that. I do have that at the end.
I was like, Samara!
Yes. Of course I noticed. And I also... Well, we'll get to it. We're skipping ahead.
I'm sorry. I got excited.
I know. I love going with wind. So, Beauregard comes. She tells him, oh, she'll want this shiny pair of roller skates. That's the shiny gift that she wanted. No. Mm-hmm. So he's like, oh, well, I don't know what size her tootsies are. The way that they're flirting made me like, ugh. She's like, does her tootsies look like these? And shows him her feet for free. Anyway. for free? In this economy? Ma'am. Your stock market crashed. No, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Anyway. So he's like, well, try them on and give me a demonstration. Of course, her manager sees this. This is not allowed. She thinks that she's an idiot. She is. So she skates to the front to check him out, but she can't remember how to do cash withdrawals. So then he gets mad. He pulls her back. He fires her. She skates off. She steals the skates. Skates off. And Beauregard's like, where did she go? What happened? Oh, no. So she gets back home. She's like, I've been fired again.
This is like, what, the 3rd or 4th time?
It's like the 5th time because she buys the Christmas presents 3 jobs ago.
Yeah.
So everybody's like, it's okay. You don't have to pay us. We love you. Yeah. Sure. Okay. So she decides it's time for Christmas. Christmas will be early. It's a couple weeks or a month later. Like, it'll be early. We Need a Little Christmas is from Mame.
I had no clue.
She started singing. She said, deck out the holly. And I said, huh? And it's from Mame. But it's been made famous by James McCartney, something like that. I was on the floor. I was shocked and agobbed. But the Santa mask that she put on during that song was horrific.
Terrifying.
horrific. That was the first time that song was in 1966 when they put it out on the musical Broadway show, which then became a success that is still put on the radio today, which is crazy.
Yeah. I just read it. Broadway musical Mame, the first performed by Angela Lansbury in 1966.
And now I think the male version, James, I want to say it's McKirschney, something like that. He's the one that's played on the radio. I've never heard a female actually sing it before, except for in Glee, obviously. But that doesn't. Meh. I love that he finds her somehow, and Mr. Beauregard shows up, and he has found her, and he knocks on the door, and he's like, "Hey, I wanted to apologize for you getting fired. I felt really bad about that. I told them it was my fault. They didn't care. Let me take everyone to dinner, all of your family to dinner." And I love Agnes Gooch is like, "Marry him the second he asks." and then her butler says, "I never believed in Santa Claus till now." She said, "I didn't expect Santa Claus to look like Rhett Butler." Which he doesn't. He doesn't look anything like Kirk Gable.
No, I mean, he is handsome.
He was
he doesn't look like Rhett.
He was very handsome. He had a really nice accent.
I wonder if that's why he was like, he has a southern draw accent, which I do not sound as southern as the people in this movie. Samar, don't you dare. I don't. I'm just sitting here. I literally was watching the movie like, this is not what I sound like. This is not what I sound like.
You can be.
If I'm talking to other members of my family who do sound like that, get me on the phone with my mama and my country twang comes way out.
I was so tired and overstimulated the other day, and Daniel was like, "Why are you talking like that?" And I was like, "I don't, because my natural is coming out. Like, I was just, leave me alone." Like, we've been potty training, and I can't do this anymore. I can't do it. I cannot.
We've probably told this story on the podcast before, but we were at Walmart or something, and I was talking on the phone, and you were in the other aisle, and you're like, "Good Lord, who is Ellie Mae Clampett on the other side?" It was me.
I laughed so hard because I always gave you a hard time, but that day I truly meant it. I was like, "Geez Louise." Like, I have never in my life, and I think you were talking to your mom too. That's what made me laugh even harder.
Yeah.
But I was like, God, that, like, I mean, I know I give y'all a hard time, but what in the world? And then I turned the corner. I think I fell out. I was like, Emily.
You did. You didn't even give me any, like, context as to why you were dying laughing until you caught your breath.
Oh. Oh, man.
And I think I just stared at you like, I do not.
Okay.
I do not.
I did not talk like that.
Yeah.
I did not. I want to talk about for a minute. No, I'll wait, actually. We'll keep going. So,
okay.
She goes, time jumps again. She's obviously dating. They've obviously been courting. They go visit his family in Georgia. This made me laugh. This whole scene. First of all, speaking of Rhett Butler, I thought that house was Tara. It was not Tara. But it looked enough like Tara, and there was enough foliage to, like, block certain things that I was like, did they really get the house from Tara? Like, I thought it burned down. Like, what in the world? It's not the same house. I think it was very supposed to look like...
It was quintessential Southern Georgia.
White columns. Wrap
plantation home. Yeah.
Stunning. Loved it. Mm-hmm. But I really was like, wow, like they're committing to the bit. Mm-hmm. So she starts talking with an accent and like putting on heavy airs. Did you notice that she put on an accent?
I could tell that she was trying.
Well, Obviously, yes. She's
She was
from New
trying, and
York.
she was trying to wear like the garb. So she had like the frilly, lacy, light purple, like looked like she tried to step out of Gone with the Wind, trying to
Exactly.
fit
I
in.
think that was her only reference. She meets Beauregard's mom, who just looks like the grumpiest grump of a grump there's ever grumped. Literally like the slug from Monsters Inc. Like, just so grumpy. And
I'm
his
always watching.
cousin sister, who was the woman,
I couldn't figure that out if
me
it was
neither.
somebody related, or because she was trying to sabotage her, which we'll get
That,
into that. So it
yeah.
was almost like, is she trying to court him, and like she's like a family friend, or I didn't know for sure.
Or quite frankly, I mean, not to get too whatever, but like Southern Old Money, was it a cousin that was trying to court him? Like,
Could have been a distant relative, yeah.
you know, um, but yeah, so she goes to meet his family. She's putting on all these airs, and the little girl, who we don't necessarily know what the relationship was like, oh my gosh, we just go ride, and she says, oh, I love to ride. Oh, you do. Oh, you do love to ride. Well, do you like to ride front, or like, how do you like to ride? She's like, oh, only side saddle, which is harder than regular, which I guess people don't think of, because you typically, like, women are only supposed to side saddle. But it's genuinely harder to sit side saddle and not fall and to sit correctly than it is to sit regular. So they're like, oh, big shots, because of course she doesn't know. She thinks it's the easy thing, because that's what freaking, Scarlett O'Hara did, until she had to not. Like, you
I always
sit
think
side.
of not Princess Bride, Emily.
Princess Diaries?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The second Princess Diaries, where she has to ride side saddle, and she's like, I can't do that, and then they bring out the fake leg,
Yeah.
so that it looks like she's riding side saddle. That's what I thought of when she was like, oh, side saddle.
Yeah. Side saddle.
Yeah.
So they decide they're going to do a hunt, and the girl. Okay, so the sister, cousin, family, relative, friend,
Sister cousin.
whoever she is, gives her lightning bolt, who is just bucking. I mean, it is Spirit the horse before Spirit the horse wants to be friends.
Lightning rod.
Lightning rod, sorry, lightning bolt, lightning rod. Is bucking, and she's like, we got you the best one we got. Ma'am. Especially because she knows she's lying. You give her the oldest, slowest horse in the world, not this little young buck who's not broken yet.
Yeah.
My girl takes off. Does great. They said she has the best ride of anyone they've ever seen. Oh my God. How did she do it? I love the whole, so they're riding the car after them. And the mom thinks that she's going to fail. So she's like, get that Yankee girl out of here. Bah ha ha. Evil laugh. I love the little thing of, she's passing the other riders. She's passing the dogs. Mother of Jefferson Davis, she's passing the fox. And she's just, I love the little, like, it reminded me of that scene in Robin Hood, the fox, where they're, like, passing, and they're like
Blue,
she's
hello.
like,
Yeah, I say blue, hello.
looking at the fox, like. So she ends up falling off her horse very gently, very gracefully, of course. And the fox is right there, and the fox is tired. The fox has been chased the whole time, so she's like, come
The
here,
fox
baby
is
fox.
adorable.
And then the fox comes and nuzzles her up, and they're like, oh my God, she saved the South. But, this woman saved the South. The chicken will fry again. The greens will collard again. We will, the South is saved. This whole song, first of all, it started off terrifying.
Yeah.
When
You're talking about Mame?
Huh?
The song
Yes.
Mame? Yeah.
When they started singing, Daniel happened to come up and was like, and I was like, no, me too. Because they're so cult like, and they're so quiet, and they're so like,
Yeah. Mame.
Nay. She saved this. Please go look up the lyrics, people who are listening or watching. Go either A, watch the scene, or B, look up the lyrics for Mame and how she saved the South by catching this fox. The peaches will pie again. I was, what in the world? I don't understand.
You
It's
know,
ridiculous.
this may be nitpicky for me, but I was looking at costumes during this time and what everybody else was wearing,
Mm-hmm.
and it irked me to no end that she wasn't supposed to have riding clothes, right? So she's supposed to be wearing the sister cousin's clothes, right?
Yeah.
But she's in
Yeah.
like this immaculate top hat where the women aren't wearing top hats, the men are. And she's
Yeah.
got like this this like it's very Mame-esque. It's not sister cousin's clothes. And she doesn't match them at all. So I was like, I feel like if she's wearing, I love that we're calling her sister cousin because we don't remember her name. Um, I would have put her in the ugliest like thing ever.
Yeah.
So that I don't know if that was just like dropped at the fact that she was supposed to be wearing her
I
clothes.
I think
So they maimed it up. I don't know.
I think that what probably happened, this is just speculation. What probably happened is she said, "Oh, we'll find something for you to wear." Well, they give her menswear, or they give her, whatever, and then she goes, "Sure." In her own main fashion, she says, "No
I'll
problem."
make it work.
Yeah.
I can see
So,
that.
I think that's what probably happened in the background is they probably were like, we gave her a top hat, and then she came out and was like,
Yeah, I'm fabulous. Yeah.
and saving the South. So, if I had to guess, that's probably exactly what happened. Is she took it and she went, okay, a little brooch, a little ascot, a
I'm
little
gonna
bit
put
of
on this skirt. Yeah.
Yeah, like I think that's what happened.
I can see that. But the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, she looks too good to be given like this clothes. But
Oh, yeah.
I can see Mame taking it and being like, I'll make this
Because
into me.
the whole time she's honestly taking everything in stride.
Mm-hmm.
Like even getting fired, like she's sad, but then when her people are like, no, we love you, because I mean, quite frankly, all she does is pour out love to her family, to her people. She never judges them. She never whatever. So the fact that they're like, no, we'll stay with you, then she goes, oh, okay, great. So back to you.
Yeah.
To you, I want to give you Christmas gifts. Back to you, I want to make you happy. Like, so I think that she just was like, oh, this is what you had? Okay, no problem. So this, I am upset that we got robbed of her wedding dress.
Yeah.
Her wedding
That's true.
dress would have been fabulous. Would have been phenomenal. I would have loved to have seen it. Even in a flash. I would have loved to seen her wedding dress.
Yeah, because we don't see them until they're on their honeymoon.
Yeah, so she marries Beauregard. They go on their honeymoon. They go on like a world cruise, which like hello, honeymoons. Why are they not honeymooning anymore?
Yeah.
The honeymoons aren't honeymooning anymore because I want to go on a world cruise. I want to go.
In my notes it said, in my notes somewhere it said that they're enjoying a world record for long distance honeymoon.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Just because they can.
Yeah, just because you can.
Yep.
I would have loved to see her wedding dress. She's writing to Patrick wherever he is. They're talking about the honeymoon. The time jump, like, this time jump was a hard time jump. Like, the other ones, you're kind of like, a couple months, like, whatever. Patrick is now grown. He's in college. Mm-hmm. He's writing to her about college and that he, met a girl and that he, and then Bo is dead. So they get married. We get introduced. They get married, and he dies within 4 minutes.
Yeah, he was killed in the Alps.
So he is dead, and Patrick shows up for 5 seconds and is like, "Hey, Mame, you good? I got a girl in my back car. Do you want to see her?" And she's like, "No, no, thank you." Like, obviously, no. They make out hardcore in the car, but then she catches them out the window. But she doesn't care. She's not judging them.
Mm-mm.
And they're just kind of like, and I love that he's like, "This is Gloria," and she's like,
"Nice to meet you." Yeah.
Yeah. That made me laugh that they were like mouthing like their introductions, because she was like, "I don't really want to go out while I'm mourning," and he's like, "I'm not bringing us in. Like, we're not hanging out with you while you're mourning." I was like, "Why are you here?" Yeah. This is where I go, Patrick, boo.
Yeah.
Then she decides, she's like, "You know what? I'm done mourning. Can't mourn anymore. You look like you've been at a funeral."
I was about to say, she looks at herself in the mirror and she's like, "What are you doing? You look like you've just come from a funeral. This is not you."
No. And so she gets dressed in a completely opposite. She goes from mourning regalia, which is black with the widow's to white fluorescent. I think she even dyed her hair, it looked like.
Yeah, it was back red-ish tint again.
Yeah, and she goes to eat with Vera. Vera's still in mourning regalia. This is where that yin and yang, that difference in costumes really comes. And they also start kind of singing about, like, "I'm your bosom buddy. I'm your best friend. I can tell you that you're fat and you can't say anything." Like, it's just, like, the most passive-aggressive, but, like, yet weirdly honest. Like, "I can tell you you're being insane, and you can tell me, yeah, probably." Like, it's very
cute. You can't do it. You can't be mad at me for long because we're bosom buddies.
Yeah. But they are that, like, oil and water. Like, again, that's seen throughout the whole thing of kind of their costumes. But here, it's very, like, yin and yang, boom.
Yeah.
With the black and the white. They get to the house. They find Agnes there. They're talking about, they're talking again about how they used to date the same men. I love the argument that Vera has. She's like, "I've never dated the same men as you." She's like, "What about Carlos, the sexy Argentinian?" "I didn't date him. I married him."
Yeah.
Okay. So Agnes cackles and is like, "I've never dated anyone." And they're like, "Oh, makeover scene, makeover montage." Okay, here's what I want to talk about. Madeline Kahn, a.k.a. Miss White from Clue, a.k.a. Frankenstein's wife from, I forget her real name, but the girlfriend of the doctor / Frankenstein's wife in Young Frankenstein with Willy Wonka, Gene Wilder, a.k.a. what's-her-face from Blazing Saddles, was originally slated, and they started the filming and production as the maid.
I read about this. Yes, I didn't put her name with a face, so I wasn't sure who she was.
And then Lucille Ball, of all the people in the production, it's on site, Lucille, said, "She's not doing a good job. I'm not pleased with her performance. Get rid of her."
Well, she also said that she was too curvaceous, right? And they could never make her look frumpy enough to be Gooch.
A poncho. Put a poncho. Put a box skirt and a poncho, and you'd never know.
Exactly what the actress is wearing in the movie. Like,
first of all, the actress looks just like Madeline Kahn in the first place. Second of all, are you kidding? I would give my left hand to see what Madeline Kahn would have done / did. Because as soon as I learned that, I literally had to pause the movie and walk away, because I was like, yes, that was perfect casting. Are you kidding me?
I didn't put the name with the face. I agree. Yeah, that's crazy.
Particularly during this scene where she talks about how she's never had a boyfriend, and then she's like, "I can't drink, it turns me into a new woman." And then they send her on her way. They make her over. She looks beautiful. She looks just like Madeline Kahn in Blazing Saddles, but, like, who's to say that? Puts her in a taxi and sends her away. She comes back pregnant because she's naive. She doesn't know anything about anything. I think the joke is she didn't even realize she was pregnant. She just knew she was sick.
Yeah, at first,
The,
until she started gaining weight.
the song that she sings, I was like, Madeline, oh my God, Madeline, please have a bootleg somewhere of Madeline singing this song, or she sang it at stage out of spite, because I know that this would have been great.
Yeah.
And
It's
maybe
called
I'm just
Gooch's song.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I'm just biased because I'm obsessed with Madeline Kahn. I'm obsessed with Mel Brooks. I'm obsessed with Gene Wilder, and they came as a pair 9 times out of 10. But I was furious. I was very upset, particularly because Lucille opened her mouth. Like, ma'am, watch this movie and then tell me Lucille gets to make decisions. No. No.
And you know, if Angela Lansbury would have been Mame, they would have kept it all the same. We got
Right.
robbed more than once.
Ugh, I would have loved to see Angela Lansbury, to be honest with you, because again, I think it just would have been great.
Well, I think we should definitely post like either a clip or something of B. Arthur and Angela Lansbury
Oh, yeah.
performing Bosom Buddies, because I couldn't
We'll
find
do
a clip from the movie.
Look, we'll definitely do that. But
Like what could have been?
what could have been? I love what they said to her though. Just back to the movie. I love what they said. She says, "Take these glasses off. You have beautiful eyes. Never wear them again." She says, "I can't see out of my right eye. That's okay. Look out of your left."
No, that made me chuckle.
What? So she comes back pregnant, and she's like, "What do I do? Because you told me to go. You told me to go. You told me to be. You told me to drink. You told me all these things.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of your fault that I'm pregnant." Which, like, no, it's not. But it's kind of your fault that I'm pregnant. So you need to help me. But you know what? Mame's like, "Yeah, come on. Like, I got you. No problem." She said she loves to have somebody to take care of now. Patrick comes back. He brings his girlfriend. And he is like, "Hey, their family wants to meet you. Can you come meet her? They're from Connecticut or whatever." And he finds out that Agnes is pregnant, so he's like, "Oh, we have to go. We can't meet here because that's unacceptable."
Mm-hmm.
Single woman pregnant, bad.
Yeah.
So they run off, and Mame agrees to go to Connecticut. First of all, Gloria's talking is just rolling on.
That's what I was about. Her talking in general, her accent doesn't match the rest of her family's though. So I'm like, where did you come from?
I feel like that actress had to have been, like foreign of some sort.
She
I
has
almost
the
want to say
stereotypical.
Austrian.
She's trying to do the stereotypical, like, posh northern accent that some people have, but, like, the rest of her family does not talk that way.
Whoa, she's Craig T. Nelson's wife. That's interesting. I need to know where she is from. Born in the United States. She was doing some weird... I almost felt like she was trying to do a Audrey Hepburn accent.
Like a transatlantic accent?
Yeah, but like it was just really odd the way that she spoke and the dialect and everything. Very odd. She's annoying.
Yes.
And she's talking about psychology in her class, and she's talking about stuff that she doesn't even understand, and like she's not making sense. And the whole time Mame's like, "Sure, yeah, sure." So they go to Connecticut, and you find out very quickly that Gloria's family is super racist. They're very uptight. They don't even necessarily claim religion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was the other thing, too, is that they weren't like, good Catholic man, good Catholic girl, good Protestant girl. Like, they were just like the wrong sort of people. You know what type they are. And they spoke badly about black people. They spoke badly about Jewish people. There was a lot of slurs.
Mm-hmm.
And Mame is just not, she's like, not about it.
She's like, I want to get out of here right now.
Yeah. So she goes to leave, which I think she did her face was very face. But I think she did a decent job. She didn't blow up. She didn't cuss anybody out. She didn't tell anyone that she was like, "Hey, I disagree with you. This sucks." And then while she's leaving, Patrick's like, you should support me. And she's like, you should support me in this engagement. And she's like, they suck. And he's like, they're normal.
Yeah.
I was
It was like a slap in the face. Well, because you find out that they're engaged, and that's when Gloria's, like, real, I don't know, accent really bothered me, because she's like, and oh my god, look at this. And she's like, but don't touch, I'm covered in oil.
Yeah. It was really, like, it was almost Alexis, but not Alexis. Like,
yeah, it was like, but don't touch, I'm drenched in oil.
Yeah, it was very odd. It was, or not Alexis, but Moira. It was like Alexis and Moira combined.
Yeah, I didn't hear you talk about it yet.
So, but yeah, he says, oh, well, they're a normal family. They're normal, the end. That was wrong, because, I mean, here's the thing. Your life was crazy, and maybe that, like, I know they say kids crave stability and stuff like that, but, like, that was wrong, because she took you in and she did everything in her power to make sure that you were okay and that you had the quote-unquote education that she thought you needed. Like, I don't know. It's an argument for another day about whether she did enough or not enough. But he's like, they're normal. You're not. I don't need you. I don't need this. And she's like, you're a spoiled little brat who is turning into a nasty Republican, basically. Like, how dare you? So she calls him all those names. They drive off. And then she invites them all to her house as a peace offering. This made me laugh. So I knew what she was doing the second that they walked in and there was a new sexy Irish maid. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, got it. Because he instantly was like, oh, you're new. You're not... Hello?
Yeah, because didn't she call her pretty... It's like Pagan?
Her name?
Yeah.
I don't remember. It was yeah. I didn't really remember.
I mean, she called her, like, this pretty Pagan, I think is what her name, like, she called her pretty. Yeah. So, she definitely knew what she was doing. Oh,
she knew. So, they all come upstairs, and then Vera comes in, kicks the door open, and is singing surrounded by men. And I love the mom going, oh my gosh, it's that famous stage star, what's her name? Yeah. And I'd love to know if that was the line, or if she just forgot what her name was, and she's like, what's her name? Like, what's her name? So she comes in, she's like, oh, sorry, I forgot that I invited my friends here. Agnes comes down the stairs after being pushed up by Patrick to stay upstairs, and they're like, oh, we know all about being pregnant, we know all about these things. Now tell us what your husband does. She's like, oh no, I'm a single mom. And they're like instantly like, a single mom. And they also, we didn't even talk about the fact that the parents were going to buy them an engagement plot of land because they didn't want the wrong sorts to buy it. But when they got there, they were mad that some slur words bought the land up from underneath of them. So they can't even, oh my gosh.
Some slur word lawyer.
Yeah, a slur word lawyer.
Yeah.
So that was really upsetting too. They're upset about that. So while they're talking about, that she's a single mom and they're disgusted, a bus full of single moms roll up. And Mame's like, oh, these are the girls from my new foundation for single moms to show Agnes that she's not alone. And they're not going to stay here, though, because it's quite so small. I bought some land up in Connecticut. And they're going to be right on the other side of your wishing well. Isn't that great? So then the family leaves disgust, including Gloria. But then the guy's like, but Patrick looks at the maid, and is like, oh no, Gloria's gone. Oh, womp.
Oh, but hello.
Yeah. Time jumps. Of course he marries the maid. They have a kid, and Mame is just whisking the child off on the road. His name is Peter. Is whisking Peter off on the world and talking about, you need to have life. You need to have whatever. And they're just like, as long as he's back at school. Well, they try to argue, but no one can argue with Mame.
No, they didn't. Yeah, they didn't get very far.
And then they all get on he gets on the plane to go to Moscow, and that's the end of the movie.
Yep. I think it was an abrupt ending for some reason because I was like, whoa, that was fast.
Yeah.
Um,
This is gonna sound really harsh. I wanted her to die, but not like in a aggressive like I wanted her to die, but like I wanted that to be the ending,
so
to
that he
be
can
like
like reminisce of everything that she actually
Patrick
did for
is
him.
Patrick is reminiscing or telling his child, and then they're about to go off on a plane with all of the light. Like he is now living the life that his Mame had instilled. Like you know what I'm saying? Like he that sort of thing. Like I wanted
You
them to
still,
be
I guess, you
reminiscing.
still kind of get that because now she's just doing it to his child.
Yeah,
Because
I just kind
one
of
of the
wanted
last
it.
lines he gives is like, she hasn't changed one bit.
Yeah. I feel like it could I feel like it would have hit stronger or better if she had been passed away, if she had been dead, and then they were like, well, we got to catch the train to Tahiti, you know,
Yeah.
or whatever. Like, that's life. So,
No, I can definitely see that.
my favorite costume, again, there were so many costumes, and they were all so fabulous, but you only saw a few of them for like 3 seconds.
Hmm.
When she's getting her stuff repoed, she, for 3 seconds, wears a beautiful mustard capelet with the brown skirts. Chef's kiss. That was my favorite. I loved it. I don't care about the ball gowns and the everything like that. Like that was just beautiful.
I think there's a few that I'll put screenshots up at as my favorites. I'll see if I can. I might have to actually like get it in the movie and find that
I've
perfect
got
spot
that
where they're
one.
at the
I'll send
church.
that one to you. Oh,
Oh,
of
you
the
do?
church.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
the church one that you like literally like you said 2 seconds, and I was like, oh, what was
Oh,
that?
that one.
Yeah.
Um. So as far as this movie goes, to be honest with you, I'm sitting at a 5.
Yeah, I was thinking 4.5, 5. Like, there's no nostalgia with it because I'd never heard of
No,
it.
no. I mean, I
Um,
love B. Arthur, so like nostalgia for me would be like a 4, like not a 0, but like not very high, just because I love B. Arthur.
yeah,
I love Lucille Ball. I love everything she did for women and comedians and TV and the Latin community. Like, yeah, but like this movie is not it.
it was. I mean, it's a good storyline, and I was laughing half the time. But yeah, they missed it on the
Oh my
casting of
god.
Lucille Ball, so that
Yeah.
really brought it down. So
I would love to. I was looking to see kind of who has played in the, and like apparently in 2006 they did a revival. And I'd love to know how that went. And I'd love to know if they did a revival again, who they would. I'm assuming Sutton Foster, although she's way too young to be anyone.
and she's
But like,
currently in Sweeney Todd
I'm
right now, right?
yeah.
Hmm.
I'm trying to think of who they could even. I maybe it feels disrespectful, but like Kristen Chenoweth, like I'm not. An older Bernadette, is Bernadette still like?
Bernadette Peters. Yeah, I can see that
Yeah, I could see Bernadette doing that.
because hasn't she played Hello Dolly?
Mhm.
That's an older casting.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, Meryl
Kathy.
Streep. Meryl Streep.
Oh, Meryl. I was saying Kathy Bates. That would be.
Yeah, I can see that too.
She could be there. It'd be fun. Anyway, what are we gonna watch next time?
Drumroll. It's not my favorite, but oh my god, is it up there? Meet Me in St. Louis.
Meet me in St. Louis, Louis. Yay! I have seen that one. It's been a very long time. Super exciting.
And this is
Yay.
another one where a famous Christmas song originated from.
Bum, bum, bum.
Stay tuned to see which one that is.
If you don't know, now you know.
Okay, Hamilton.
Not Hamilton. I mean, yeah, but like, no. I'm pretty sure it's Biggie Smalls. It's Juicy J.
Oh,
Anyway,
well,
it's
my brain
B.I.G.
is stuck on
It's Juicy by
Broadway, so.
B.I.G. If you don't know, now you know. I didn't say it. Anyway.
Well, my brain is on Broadway time, so.
Anywho, follow us on Instagram. That's one of my biggest pod. Join us over there on the gram. We've been having a lot of fun. and just posting little bits and pieces here and there. Email us at oneofmyfaves@gmail.com and listen to us on YouTube and Spotify.
Whoop, whoop.
We'd love to hear from you. So, like, when we say email. If you want to rate us, that would be great. We haven't been rated yet, so, but we're always here for feedback and criticism and critiques, as long as they're nice.
Nice.
As long as they're nice. But, yeah, so next time we see you, we'll be talking about Meet Me in St. Louis.
With one of my favorite people, Judy Garland.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.